Hi, students. As we close the book on 2019-2020, the school year, I have some thoughts and some things that I've just been kind of writing down, and I wanted to share with you in real person form and what have you. First of all, to the class of 2020, all right, I just want to tell you, that I'm proud of you. When it's cool for me. Like I get to when you come to me, right, as 14 and 15-year-old freshmen, you're kids, all right, and kids make mistakes and do things and don't necessarily like have as much of a path, if you will. And one of the cool things for me as a high school teacher, right, is I get to see the change. I get to see the path, the maturation process, all that, and I get to watch you guys I get to watch you flourish. I get to have a small part in your journey to adulthood, and that's really what I think of when I think about a graduate, right? I think about a graduating senior. This is somebody now who's gonna go off into the world, and I hope that you're ready for that, and I hope that you're excited about that. I hope that you're feeling like you are just. I hope you feel the sense of pride that you should feel. Um, I COVID-19 doesn't make your accomplishments and your contributions to our school, to our society, any less significant. It really doesn't. I'm sad that it stole some things from you, right? It stole some memories, senior proms and some of that kind of stuff. But you know what, guys? That stuff does not define you, okay? You have so many cool things that are ahead of you in your life if those are things that are on your path. Graduating from college, marriage, children, building a life, wherever and however, a profession. Like, I'm telling you, there are so many things that in your life as you endeavor forward that your goals and your dreams, they're still there. All right. But COVID kind of I don't know, it just kind of sucked. But it is what it is. Um, I didn't get to say goodbye to you, to the seniors, and that hurts. It leaves an empty spot for me. There's no other way for me to put it. I will miss you. I will miss you. I I thought very highly of the class of 2020. I have a parable that I usually give to my students as they're leaving, okay, as they're about to graduate. And the parable goes something like this, and I'm paraphrasing, so you have to help me. But there's a professor, a teacher, and he takes out a container. And that container, he places inside of it a whole bunch of rocks. And these are, really, really big rocks. And because of the really. All right, sorry, I needed a second there. So back to the rocks. So he fills this container with rocks, right? And he asks his students, right? Like, is the container full? And the students say, yeah, it's full. So then the professor says, okay, well, so he reaches down and he pulls up a container of pebbles, right? And he pours the pebbles into the larger container and they fill in the gaps and the spaces. And again, the professor looks at his students and says, is the container full? And the students look back at him and say, yeah, the container's full. So then that professor reaches down, pulls out a container of sand, and pours the sand into the larger container. And that fills in all the little crevices and spaces and what have you. And then he asks the students, is it full? And the students say, yes, it's full. So the last thing that the professor does is the professor pulls out a large pitcher of water. And then the professor pours the pitcher into the large container. And then he asks, is the container full? And they all agree that at that point that the container is full. So what is the big, the big analogies here? Well, here's what I would say. So the professor says that the rocks represent the really important things in your life. Okay, so what are those things? That's things like family, a partner, your health, and potentially children. And so, like, if everything else in your life didn't exist, you would still have a full life. And so, the big thing I would say to you is that when you're thinking about your life, take care of the rocks, right? Nurture the rocks. Now, the pebbles, on the other hand, right, are all the other little things that also matter to us: a house, job, clothing, shoes, right? All the things that bring you joy and happiness, going to a concert, doing all those kinds of things. Those are pebbles, right? And you know what? They definitely enhance your life. And then the sand is just like everything else, right? So the professor tells them all of that, and I hope you like that parable, and I hope that you'll take care of the rocks and the things that are in your life, seniors of 2020. But then they ask him, well, what's the water for? And he says, well, living things are mostly composed of and made of water, and the more water that you consume and drink, the better you'll feel. So, end of the day, drink a glass of water, take a breath, and hopefully whatever's happening in your life will just feel better. Okay? So, but seniors, I tell you, there really is. There's so much ahead of you. There's so much for you to look forward to and still yet to come. And I just want you to know I'm deeply proud of you. You will be missed. This is the best I can do right now. I hope you'll accept a virtual hug from me, and my warmest wishes for you to be happy and for you to have rocks in your life that are plentiful and strong and bring you incredible happiness. My warmest wishes to go to you. I sure would like it if at some point if we got to visit with one another, got to, say goodbye and got to have a personal interaction. If you see me at Meijer, say hi to me. If you see me at Meijer in 10 years, say hi to me. I want to meet your significant others. I want to meet the rocks in your life. If you have children, if you have a partner, I want to hear about your families. Okay, I want those things. I want to know. Okay. The last thing I'll say is I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and I've been feeling a little sappy. And there's a cool podcast called Commencement, and it's like through iHeartRadio. And there was a podcast that I found that was really, really strong, and it's by Coach Mike Krzyzewski of the Duke Blue Devils. And if you have a moment, I'd download it and I'd listen to him about the bus and seniors, about, you want to have people who are on your bus who are supporting your life and who you want good people to be a part of your families, your partnerships, your children, and all that. So that's that. Second part of my message goes out to the underclassmen. I think school's going to be different now, and it'll probably be different for a little while. But that said, the primary tenets of school, they still stand. Manchester Junior and Senior High it's still going to be a safe place for you. I believe that. And I can tell you that as your teacher this fall, I am going to be heck bent on making sure that I provide for you the absolute most safe and best environment that I possibly can. That's my pledge to you. It's my pledge to your families. It's my pledge to those you love and care about. I will do everything I can in my power to keep you safe. Manchester is going to be a safe place for you. I believe that. It's going to be a safe place for me. It has to be. Okay? Manchester's special. It's important. It might look different when we come back, right? We might bleach our tabletops constantly. We have to wear a mask, or maybe we won't. But I pledge to you, I will take care of you, and I will care. One of the things I've learned over these last few weeks and months, folks, is that your mental health and well-being is so important. And that's one thing that I just pledge that I will try to protect and take care of, because it's way more important than any biology, any chemistry lesson, anything I can do for you as far as providing you stoichiometry or some kind of lesson. Okay, your mental health will be important to Brad Gerby. Um, and I pledge to help you still, build those hopes and dreams, and freshmen and sophomores and juniors, like finding that path. That's the good stuff. Okay, and I will be just as dedicated to you as I've ever been. Those who enter will indeed leave prepared. You will leave prepared. So, my final message before I get cut off here is to persevere. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep advancing. Keep going on your journey. Just go, okay? And right now we don't know all the details, and right now we don't know all the finer things, but we're going to figure those things out. And Manchester is going to be a safe place for you. I want to thank your parents. I want to thank the community. I want to thank people for trusting us through this COVID time, because this was not ideal, and it's so different, and it's so not ideal. But I'm a big believer that you just try to embrace the things in your life as they happen, and then try to make the absolute best you can of it, right? The old adage of, right, life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And we're going to figure things out. We are. So, seniors, goodbye. I take care of yourselves. Be safe, be smart, make good choices. Underclassmen will be together again, but I also want you to be safe, be smart. I want you to make good choices in your lives. Take care of each other. Thank you. Have a good day.